Okay, so imagine going to the doctor and they pull out like an AI to help diagnose you
Yeah.
faster, more accurate, even personalized treatment.
Yeah.
Amazing,
Right.
right? But
Yeah.
what if the AI is like biased,
Yeah.
giving different results based on I don't know, like what hospital you went to?
That is the unsettling reality that we're facing today in digital pathology.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that took a dark turn pretty fast, but I am interested.
Sure.
So, tell me more about that.
So today we're going to be diving deep into a research paper
Okay.
called Current Pathology Foundation Models Are Unrobust to Medical Center Differences.
Okay.
And it reveals some pretty concerning findings about how these powerful AI models trained on, tons and tons of data
Yeah.
can be swayed by things we might not even think
Now,
about.
like what kinds of things? I thought AI was supposed to be like all objective and data driven.
It is, but the data itself can contain these hidden biases.
Oh,
And so in this case, the research focuses on variations between medical centers,
okay.
like things like differences in equipment, staining procedures,
Mm.
even just the expertise of the technicians preparing the slides.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So you're saying that like the AI might pick up on these I don't know, seemingly insignificant differences and use them to make decisions.
exactly. And that's a big problem.
Yeah.
You can imagine an AI that's really great at, identifying cancer cells,
Mm.
but it gets distracted by these subtle differences in how the slides were prepared at different hospitals.
Right.
And suddenly, the accuracy of your diagnosis might just depend on where you happen to be getting treatment.
Wow. So it's like almost random then.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary.
That's not the futurist of healthcare I thought I was signing up for.
Yeah.
It really does seem like we need to understand these challenges, though, if we're going to even think about trusting AI with our health.
Absolutely. And this research helps us do just that. It introduces this fascinating concept called the Robustness Index,
Yeah.
which basically measures how much an AI model is influenced by biological features,
Yeah.
the actual cells and tissues,
Right.
versus these confounding factors like, the medical center where the sample came from.
So it's like a scorecard for how well the AI can ignore the noise and focus on what's important.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
A high robustness index means the AI is doing a good job of filtering out those irrelevant details and focusing on the important biological information.
Okay, so did this research find any AI models that like passed this robustness test, like with flying colors?
Unfortunately, not really.
Oh,
They evaluated 10 different models,
okay.
and all of them showed, some level of sensitivity to these medical center variations.
Okay, that's concerning.
Yeah.
But were some better than others?
Yeah, there was some variation.
Okay.
One model called Vircho 2 was the only one that had a robustness index greater than 1, meaning that it was slightly more focused on the biological features than those confounding factors.
Yeah.
But even that wasn't, a huge difference.
So it sounds like there's still a long way to go before we can really trust these AIs to make like accurate and unbiased diagnoses.
That is one of the key takeaways from this research.
Yeah.
It highlights the need for more robust AI models,
Okay.
ones that can really sift through these complex data sets and focus on the truly relevant information.
Okay, so I'm starting to see why this is a big deal, but to be honest, all this talk about indexes and models, it's
Yeah.
making my head spin a little bit.
Sure.
Is there a way to like visualize this problem to make it a little more concrete?
There is.
Okay.
The researchers actually used a technique called TSNE visualization to do just that.
Okay.
So imagine a map of how the AI sees tissue samples.
Okay.
And what this research showed was that for some AI models, the location of the hospital
Uh-huh.
was a more prominent feature on this map than the actual disease.
Wait, are you serious? So the AI was basically saying like, oh, this sample came from hospital A, so it must be X.
Yeah.
Even if the actual tissue looked totally different.
That's what the visualizations revealed.
Wow.
Yeah, and for some models, like Ficon V2, you could predict the medical center with like almost perfect accuracy,
Wow.
just by looking at where the data points fell on this map.
That's mind-blowing.
It is.
And more than a little bit unsettling, honestly.
It is, and it really underscores the point that AI, for all its potential, is still just a tool that needs to be carefully developed and evaluated.
Right. So we've seen how these AI models like pick up on these variations between medical centers
Right.
and how that can lead to some pretty worrying biases.
Yeah.
So, like, what are the implications of all of this? What does it mean for the future of AI in, healthcare?
Well, I think it raises some big questions about, the reliability and fairness of using AI in healthcare.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't have a system where someone's diagnosis or treatment is influenced by something as arbitrary as, like, which hospital they go to.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's one thing to use AI to, I don't know, like help streamline processes or analyze data,
Right.
but using it to make like critical decisions about someone's health,
Yeah.
that's a whole other level of responsibility.
Exactly. And it's not just about, like, fairness.
Right.
If these models are making decisions based on, irrelevant factors, it could actually be detrimental to patient care.
Oh, wow.
We need to be sure that AI is helping us make, better, more informed decisions,
Yeah.
not introducing new sources of error.
So where do we go from here? Like, how do we ensure that AI is, a force for good in medicine and not like a potential source of harm?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the good news is this research isn't just highlighting a problem.
Okay.
It's also pushing for solutions.
Okay, good.
The researchers behind this paper are really advocating for the development of more robust models, models that can filter out the noise and focus on, those really important biological features.
Okay, that makes sense, but how do you actually build a more robust model? Is it just like a matter of feeding it more data, or is there something else to it?
Yeah, it's definitely not as simple as just like, throwing more data at the problem.
Right.
This research shows that even models trained on, these massive data sets are still susceptible to these biases.
Yeah.
So I think one key takeaway is that we need to be more mindful about the data that we're using to train these models.
Okay.
We need to be aware of like the potential for these variations in, staining procedures, equipment, and either, try to control for those variations
Right.
or develop methods to make the models, less sensitive to them.
So it's like teaching the AI to, I don't know, ignore the irrelevant details and focus on what really matters.
Yeah.
But I can also imagine some people kind of pushing back on this, Like, wouldn't removing all medical center information, wouldn't that, like, limit the AI's learning?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, don't we want it to learn from, like, real-world data, which includes those variations?
You raise a really valid point.
Yeah.
And the paper does acknowledge that argument.
Okay.
Some might argue that capturing all the nuances of the data,
Yeah.
including the medical center variations, could actually lead to a richer, more comprehensive understanding.
Right.
But the danger is that it becomes really difficult to disentangle those variations from the truly relevant biological information.
So it's like trying to solve a puzzle where some of the pieces look, almost identical,
Yeah.
but only one of them actually fits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's also this risk that, like, seemingly harmless variations might actually be correlated with factors that do have, some clinical significance.
Oh, okay.
So imagine, a scenario where a certain type of cancer is more prevalent in, like, a particular geographic region,
Yep.
and the hospitals in that region might use, like, slightly different staining techniques or equipment.
Yeah.
And the AI might inadvertently learn to, associate those technical variations with the cancer itself.
Right.
Even though there's no direct, causal link.
It's like the AI is playing a game of like medical detective,
Yeah.
but it's focusing on like the wrong clues.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a bit unsettling to think about.
It is.
Yeah.
And it just highlights the complexity of this challenge. We're not just dealing with technical variations.
Right.
We're dealing with, like, the potential for these hidden biases. It could have, like, real consequences for patients.
Yeah, it sounds like a real balancing act.
Yeah.
Like harnessing the power of AI, but also being incredibly careful about how we, train and use it.
Precisely. And that's why, the goal of this research isn't to, like, demonize AI.
Right.
Or to say that it has no place in medicine.
Yeah.
The goal is to encourage, a more nuanced and cautious approach.
Right.
One that recognizes both, the incredible potential of AI
Yeah.
and the need for, like, rigorous scrutiny to make sure that it's being used responsibly and effectively.
So it's not about abandoning AI altogether,
Right.
but about being like smarter and more aware of its limitations.
Absolutely. And I think this research is a really valuable contribution to that effort,
Yeah.
providing both a clear-eyed assessment of the challenges
Mm-hmm.
and a roadmap for moving forward in a more responsible and robust way.
Okay.
We need to move beyond just, celebrating impressive performance metrics and
Yeah.
really dig into how these models are making decisions.
Yeah, it seems like this research is like a call to action
It is.
for the entire like medical AI community,
Yeah.
researchers, clinicians, developers,
Yeah.
everyone involved in bringing this technology into, the healthcare system.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've talked about the problem, the
Yeah.
like potential solutions and the, this call to action for the medical AI community.
Right.
But let's bring it back to, our listener for a second.
So-
What are the key takeaways here for someone who might be, I don't know, like interacting with AI-powered healthcare tools in the future?
That's a great question.
This research paper we've been talking about, it like focused on medical-centered differences.
Right.
But it really got me thinking about, all the other potential biases that could be, I don't know, lurking in the data. Like, I mean, we've all heard those stories about algorithms, discriminating against certain groups of people.
Right.
Could something similar be happening, in healthcare too?
It's definitely a valid concern.
Yeah.
This paper is like, a window into a much larger issue.
Yeah.
We're really just scratching the surface of understanding how these biases can creep into AI systems.
Right.
And the implications for healthcare. I mean, they're huge. They're profound.
Yeah. It is, it's kind of scary to think that these hidden biases could be like shaping diagnoses and
Yeah.
treatment decisions without us even realizing it.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how much we can really trust like these systems.
It's a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah.
We need to be much more vigilant about identifying and mitigating these biases in AI,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to something as, critical as healthcare.
But where do we even start? It seems like such a daunting task.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even begin to like identify these biases
Yeah.
that might be hidden within these like complex algorithms and data sets?
Well, I think it starts with, acknowledging the problem
Okay.
and really committing to, to doing better.
Yeah.
We need more transparency about like the data that's used to train these models
Mm-hmm.
and, more rigorous testing and validation processes.
Okay.
And we need to involve, diverse voices in the development and deployment of AI. Ensuring that we're considering different perspectives.
Right.
And, potential biases.
So it's not just about like the technology itself.
Right.
It's about like the people and the processes behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about creating, a culture of responsibility
Yeah.
and accountability in the field of AI.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about recognizing that, AI is not this like magic bullet.
Right.
It's a tool,
Yeah.
and it needs to be used thoughtfully and ethically.
Well said.
Yeah.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Good.
It's clear that AI has, this huge potential to like revolutionize healthcare,
Right.
but we really need to proceed with, with caution
Yeah.
and a commitment to fairness and transparency.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
The future of AI in medicine really depends on our ability to, to address these challenges
Yeah.
head on.
So to our listener, we hope this deep dive has, shed some light on this complex world of AI in healthcare.
Absolutely.
It's, it's an evolving field
It is.
with both, tremendous promise
Yeah.
and potential pitfalls.
For sure.
Stay curious, stay informed, and keep asking questions.
And remember, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more we understand about how these technologies work, the better equipped we'll be to ensure that they're used for good.
That's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious.